Thanks to the Tier 5 channel members and patrons. Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Sergeant Puma, Cat Crab Lobster, and Duck Machine. Thank you very much for the support. It is much appreciated.
Story number 1. Blue and Smaller Things. Written by Blashed. Tell me about it. Earth. Tell me about it. It's blue. Lots of green too, but so much blue. From the sky at least. White clouds and blue skies and deep blue oceans. A small gasp of air. And you should see the mountains. Looks like God himself carved them. When you walk around, not the cities. They're better now, but not quite. When you're outside, feels good to breathe. I mean, not everywhere. Some places it's so cold it hurts to breathe. And some are hot. You get the idea. Yeah. It clears your head, just being in a forest. Trees that touch the sky, I think. And there were places where you could just go. Run forever if you want. I'm sorry. It's okay. Keep going. I used to spend hours in the huge library, in the coffee shops and stores downtown. The whole downtown had trees and color everywhere, and people were always laughing or talking and not everyone is good. I mean, but the good ones are really good. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. So many different people. My neighbor used to make spicy taco things, gave them to me whenever she made them for her kids, and played this ridiculous music. Then, right across the hallway, this huge Italian family always invited me over for holidays, or just to talk, treated me like their own. And they were loud, but I loved them. The Chinese couple was quiet, but I liked them too. We ate a lot together too. So many different people. Did that ever lead to difficulty? Oh yeah, but it was amazing when it didn't. Blinking. And my mom's cookies. Holy... I wish you could taste them. She always used to slap my hands 'cause I reached for them too early and she didn't want me to get burnt. Burnt slowing down. When I was a kid, before school, my dad and I would make up these stupid songs up and dance around the kitchen just 'cause we were feeling goofy. Half-closed eyes. There were bad things too, but it made you really appreciate the good things, like Mom's cookies and Dad's stupid songs. That sounds amazing. Small silence. I miss the rain. Another silence. Strokes to push away his hair, wipe away the sweat. Would you hold my hand? I'm scared. Of course I will, she says. A tight squeeze. I hope I go back. You will. I believe it. And he was quiet. Trilly looked down at the now still human whose head rested on her lap. He had fought for a world that wasn't his own, and for a people that wouldn't know his name. The cries of victory ran out in the city around them, but in the small medical tent there was only quiet stillness. Trilly unclasped her 3 fingers from his hand and gently rested his head back onto his cot. She closed his eyes and gave him the traditional bow of her race. I believe you'll make it. End of story. Story number 2. A Bitter Brew, written by Radius55. Kakul turned at sound of the storm room unlocking. As he expected, in came his roommate. Hey, Anaris, I still have a few cycles of work tonight, but I can move to the common room if you need to sleep. Anaris, his mammalian roommate, was a member of a species with long sleep cycles due to terrible night vision and an odd quirk of evolution. The poor Enrethia needed twice the sleep of anyone else on campus, and at odd times as well. Not tonight, Key. I heard from one of the TAs that Professor Hekon is giving us one of those pop quizzes tomorrow, and I have to study. I just can't wrap my head around the third transition phase of heavy upspin delta particles. My own damn fault for taking the class, though. He had made an odd whistling noise. That was his version of sighing. Cacao was surprised. You sure, man? Normally, you're just about dead on your feet at a time of night. Well, I have a secret weapon this time. You know that human in quantum distributed algorithms, Ashley Jennings? At an affirmative gesture from Cacao, he continued. Well, I helped her out on a really nasty problem last week, when she overheard me complaining to the TA that there was no way I could possibly be ready for a test tomorrow. She gave me this and said it would help. He held up a small bottle. From the sloshing noises it made, there was obviously some sort of liquid inside. He opened the container, and Cacao could see the light brown substance emitting a thin cloud of steam. What is that? He asked, taking a whiff and nearly gagged at the smell. Anna shrugged. Some sort of recreational stimulant, she said. Not sure what kind exactly, but he said happily, am biologically compatible with humans, unlike some beings in this room. Yeah, laugh it all up, Verbal, the insectoid muttered. Human food had recently gained some popularity around the university, and Anaris had been rubbing it in his face lately. This stuff smelled like rotten kek flesh. Anyway, stupid Dexter lifeforms lording it over the rest of them. Ha! You'll be singing another tune when I ace my test tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe she has a version for lefties like you. They laughed, and then Anaris went over to his desk. Ashley had warned him this liquid was usually bitter, but she had added some saccharides and white high-lipid solution to improve the taste. Well, time to get to work, he muttered, getting out his notes and taking a sip of the warm brew. Ashley Jennings stifled a yawn as she walked down the hallway. She'd never been a morning person, and it had been a late night of studying for the quiz between binge-watching Firefly Season 18 on the Hollow. Tonight, she resolved that she'd get a full night's rest. Well, at least after. Her thoughts cut off as something grabbed her shoulder. She turned quickly and saw Anaris. What's wrong? The tall, furry mammalian was obviously having some sort of trouble. His arms and legs didn't seem to wait to stay still, and his fur was matted in places. But it was his eyes that drew her gaze. All four orbs were flicking back and forth wildly, like he was searching for some monster only he could see. What did you put in it? His words came out at a rush, almost too fast to understand. I'm sorry, I didn't get that. What did I put in, the drink? He shouted, drawing the stares of the passerbys. When did you put in the drink? He was still there, but at least his speech had slowed down enough for Ashley to understand it. The coffee? Nothing. Don't lie to me. You put something in there. I know you did. Anaris, she replied, trying her best to calm him down. All I put in there was cream and sugar, and you've had that stuff before. Unless you really don't react well to caffeine. I don't know. Caffeine! His wild eyes had opened wider than it was even possible. How much caffeine? She pulled out a pad and did a quick search. Well, it was a mild blend with plenty of cream, and so about 50 milligrams. That's 23 microunits. 23! He cut off, shuddering. It was no wonder he'd been like this all night. You mean, Anaris said, a bit more slowly, you gave me 3 doses of caffeine. The caffeine our military uses for combat drugs. That caffeine. Oh, oops, she said, her own eyes going wide. And you telling me your humans drink this for fun? In response, Ashley holds up her own venti cup full of dark black blend. I really can't do anything without my morning cup, she says, shrugging. Cup! Now Anaris was gaping at her, staring at the container with enough combat stims in it to kill him twice over. For her own part, Ashley hid her amusement at the alien's reaction, though she had to force herself to not take a quick drink. But after a minute, he settled down enough for Ashley to convince him to go get his system flushed out at the infirmary. Note to self, she thought, as Anaris started to walk down the hall. Don't tell these guys about Red Bull. End of story. And